Ladies and gentlemen, let's put the pedal to the metal because 2023 F1 season is about to take off, and we're in for one wild ride. With only 4 out of 10 teams retaining the same driver lineup, we're expecting some major shakeups on the grid. But don't you worry, we've done our research and made some predictions for the upcoming season. Before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for daily F1 content and hit that like button. Magnussen vs Hulkenberg. Haas team in 2023 will have 2 similar drivers in their lineup, Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg. Both of them are instinctive drivers, who can predict the weather conditions and know which set of tyres to fit. They are both known to be some of the most talented drivers, but have not been able to achieve as much as they could have. It will be hard to predict who will come out on top in this competition, but it will likely depend on Hulkenberg's ability to adapt quickly to his comeback. He has shown his ability to quickly get up to speed with Racing Point and Aston Martin, and it should be no different with Haas. The victory will be close but goes to Hulkenberg. Albon vs Sargeant. After struggling against Max Verstappen in 2020, Alex Albon had a resurgence in his performance last season. He scored 4 points, despite the limitations of the Williams car, and became a vital member of the team. This makes him a formidable opponent for his rookie teammate Logan Sargeant. Despite a strong debut season in Formula 2, Williams' decision to sign Sargeant as the first American driver of the Liberty era before he had the required super license points suggests that he may not be ready for F1 yet. This impression was reinforced by Sargeant's inconsistent performances in the closing rounds of 2022, so Albon is likely to come out on top. Alonso vs Stroll. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for the showdown of the season, Stroll vs Alonso. 5 years ago, if you had said that Lance Stroll would be evenly matched with Sebastian Vettel, you would have been met with laughter. But little did we know that Vettel was on a downward spiral, and Stroll was just getting started. Despite showing signs of promise, Stroll has continued to frustrate fans and critics alike. But put him alongside Fernando Alonso, a driver with an evergreen talent and an unflinching ruthlessness, and it's a whole different story. Alonso, as always, will quickly become the center of attention at Aston Martin and could potentially add Stroll to his list of victims. In signing Alonso, team owner Lawrence Stroll may have unknowingly offered his own son as a sacrifice to F1's big bad wolf. Get ready. Norris vs Piastri. Daniel Ricciardo's struggles on the track may have cost McLaren a place in the Constructors' Championship for 2 years in a row, but it also had a positive effect on Lando Norris's development. Norris took on the role of team leader across 2021 and 2022, becoming one of the fastest and most reliable drivers in F1. There may be concern that the arrival of Oscar Piastri could hinder Norris's performance, but for now, the team is still focused on supporting Norris, and Piastri will be taking time to adjust to the McLaren way of working. Tsunoda vs DeVries. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the battle of the rookies, DeVries vs Tsunoda. Now, DeVries made a stand-in appearance for Williams at Monza last season and he was as cool as a cucumber, unlike Tsunoda, who's been a bit of a hothead in his first 2 seasons at AlphaTauri. And, with a 9th place finish in the Italian Grand Prix under his belt, DeVries is ready to take on the F1 scene in 2023. But let's not count Tsunoda out just yet. He's entering his all-important 3rd year at Red Bull's B team, and it's time for him to step up and make those occasional flashes of potential a regular thing. But, with DeVries being a champion in Formula 2 and Formula E, we predict he'll put an end to the Tsunoda experiment and potentially become a future teammate to fellow Dutchman Verstappen. So, get ready for some serious speed and some serious drama as these 2 rookies duke it out on the track. Bottas vs Zhou. Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou have a unique relationship on the 2023 grid. Unlike others who may have rivalries, their partnership is more like a master and apprentice dynamic, with the team coming first. Bottas supported Zhou throughout his rookie campaign in 2022, offering guidance on how to overtake other drivers during races. However, it's unlikely that Bottas would be so open and supportive if he saw Zhou as a serious threat to his own success. Unless something unexpected occurs, Bottas is likely to have another successful year in 2023. Ocon vs Gasly. Esteban Ocon has been in a similar position before, as a supporting driver to a more high-profile teammate. He was able to make it work for him, outscoring Fernando Alonso during their 2 seasons together at Alpine, even earning a victory at Hungary 2021. Ocon has previously pointed out that only Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, both world champions, fared better when paired with Alonso. This prior experience should be beneficial as he prepares to compete alongside his old friend Pierre Gasly at Alpine. With both drivers being evenly matched, Ocon's past 3 seasons at Enston could give him an edge. Hamilton versus Russell. It's best to evaluate a team's drivers when they have a real competition to fight for, not when the car is uncompetitive. Russell may have claimed the team's only victory of 2022 and finished 35 points ahead of Hamilton, but it doesn't matter much in the midst of Mercedes' worst season in a decade. Only when there are regular wins and a world championship at stake can an accurate judgment be made. Therefore, the Mercedes intra-team battle for 2023 depends heavily on the quality of the car. If Mercedes returns to title contention and 2022 becomes a distant memory, Hamilton may re-emerge as a dominant force. However, if the W14 continues to struggle and only occasionally win races, doubts may arise about Hamilton's motivation to continue racing after his many accomplishments. With Red Bull winning all but 5 races last year and a new set of rules, it will be a challenge for any team to compete with them. Leclerc versus Sainz. The dangers of judging drivers when the car is not capable of winning races can be seen in Ferrari's example. After a successful first season with the team in 2021, Carlos Sainz was seen as a formidable threat to Charles Leclerc. But by the end of 2022, Leclerc had regained his position as the team's leading driver. Leclerc's strong performance in the opening rounds of the season, winning 2 of the first 3 races, highlighted Sainz's tendency to make errors and lack of finesse compared to Leclerc. Though Sainz recovered well and claimed his first win at Silverstone, the gap between him and Leclerc had grown so wide that it is unlikely he will be able to close it, especially with Frederic Vasseur, a longtime ally of Leclerc now leading Ferrari. Verstappen versus Perez. When Max Verstappen said, "You just have to accept that the driver next to you is just a bit better." That's fine, that can happen. You can't live in a fairy tale world. He was talking about Valtteri Bottas' time as Lewis Hamilton's teammate at Mercedes. But his words could also be seen as a warning to Sergio Perez, following their altercation in Brazil at the end of last year. Verstappen's perspective is that Perez should be aware of his role as a wingman for him at Red Bull in 2021. If Perez thinks he's above that role, Verstappen's consistent excellence in performance will make it clear that he should comply. That's all for today's video. Tell us in the comments who you think would come on top in the battle of the drivers. Don't forget to like and subscribe for daily F1 content.